If you're going to replace one, it's probably just a good idea to replace them all. And be done. Any questions on that? How much time do we have left?
I think 30.
Oh, okay, we have about 15 minutes. We can go through over some of the shreddage features and stuff. With this, all 494 processors, when you get into those, have a lubrication system that's a little different. It's called a Lubrication. That's the square unit down there. And basically all it uses is air pressure to work. And there's a regulator on there. You set it like 37 pounds of air pressure. And there's no moving parts in this unit. It's right down there. And basically what comes out of it is about 2 pounds of air pressure with the oil mist built into it. So when that it comes out of there, it basically hooks into this, and that's it. It ties into your air system, and it just runs effortlessly. And if you have the processor sitting, say you're idling, you got air pressure, you can see a little bit of smoke coming out of these bearings. They always have about 2 pounds of air pressure inside, so that keeps any contaminants from going in. Most of the time you see the oil coming out of this unit will be just as clean as it is in the jug. So it's really made a difference that just that 2 pounds of air pressure inside this unit. So what we did differently, this slide portion, we had bigger rolls, we had more room to work with. Move this slide is up in the back now, instead of down there in the front. And this keeps us a lot cleaner. And the springs are actually in the back side, instead of down here in the bottom. So you could actually replace springs when the processor's in the machine, or you could adjust here's your stop bolt up here. You could actually adjust that with the machine too. Everybody know what the stop bolt is? Yeah, it keeps the roll from banging together when I'm really close.
So can this oil system be put on
It could.
the other process?
Yeah, it could. Take a little bit of doing. Be done. And then also, with all 494 stuff, that other little black box is up in the cab, and that's monitoring all 4 bearing temperatures at the same time. And it also monitors your air pressure to make sure you have enough air to operate. And that hooks right into this wire right here. You guys that have this system just love it. It gives you so much peace of mind. And if you were to have an issue with a bearing, so it's 3 in the afternoon, you got a bearing that's getting hot, something's going on, you could probably have some work done on that night, rather than wait till the next morning and have the bearing go out and be down all day. You know that. So, or fix it on the weekend if something's going wrong. So, typically we don't see a lot of bearings going out.
So that can be easily put on to the
Could be,
process.
yeah.
Just on the top.
And this slide plate is also lubricated with that same oil mist. Everything's lubricated. There's 2 zerks on either side on these, and we recommend greasing them about once a week, just 1 shot. And that lubricates this adjustment bolt and your stop. It's not critical, but it needs a little bit of lubrication. Just keep the nuisance and rust from fitting it. So the features, it comes that lubricant mist, and then it also has the bearing temperature monitor in the cab. That's the difference. And you guys are familiar with the lifting chains, owner's manual, it's all come with it. And it's applied with a wrench. I don't know how to fix that. All 494s have. And this part of the lock, you have a lock here, and then this wrench is how you adjust it. That, you guys are familiar with that. So, and this wrench also, it's a positive lock that you put into place. There's a rubber stopper behind the skill rail. You said we lock that up.
Got 492s too, is that?
Yep.
490?
Now, okay, this is the shredded unit 494. Now that's the shredded unit for 492. That's the most you have. That has got the same features as this guy. It has it's the same identical lubricant system and the same identical temperature monitoring in the cab. The wrench is the same. And the slide is up on top now. Springs are heavier. The only difference between the two is those rolls are 9-inch diameter instead of 10. And typically, your processors are all 8-inch. So you you get able to get 1 roll inch of diameter, which makes a lot of difference in a roll. So, and the same length, just a bigger diameter. That thing will just, if you were to run just standard size with it, it just does a great job. And that style tooth will process better with a wider gap. When you hit a wider gap, then you're saving fuel. That you don't have that pressure trying to crush it to cut it. A wider gap means it just flows through easier. That tooth will just rip kernels apart and stops better than any roll we've ever run.
So can you run non-shredlage in
Yeah,
the shorter?
absolutely. Yep.
So it works the same, it's just you got the advantage of the longer cut.
Yeah, exactly.
So, are the processor rolls running the same speed?
Shredded units are always a little faster or more differential.
More differential.
More differential.
So, what is the differential? You said that thing was running what, 30?
The standard processor is probably like 22 to 26. Some, they vary a little bit. These are shredded unit is always at least 30. And that just assures you more ripping, more range. The other feature, all 494s, just any standard 494 or shredded unit, there's a combination rolls. One is coarser than the other one. If you guys are familiar with that. Basically, the coarse one is the same coarseness you have now, but the one opposing to it, the slow one, is a finer tooth. And that gives you, as you've got that differential working for you and trying to grind it, now it just gives you more cutting edges to cut against. Because this slow roll really isn't pulling much through, because the teeth are pointed, they're actually pointed down. So, but your fast roll is doing the most amount of work, so we're allowing it more cutting edges to work against. You might see that concept. Basically, about half or a third of our business is actually working on roller mills, and that technology has been at roller mills for 25 years. They always run one faster than the other one. So, this is for hog feed, where 700 micron, or nowadays they even want 600 micron, 550 micron when you get it done. So, combination rolls, and the 492's got the same thing. So the only difference, basically the color, and those are 9-inch rolls and these are 10-inch. So it comes with all the same features. If you don't have air on your 492, there are portable air compressors, 12-volt portable air compressors. I found them online. 100% duty cycle, got a little tank on them, between $400 and $500. Most of the newer 492s have air. That unit there, it runs about 30% differential, like I said. We run really a small pulley on that, on the fast roll. And that, we put out 9 or 10 of those last year, and they worked just flawlessly. So this year, we're up to probably like 40 or 50 of them. So if you were looking at one, I wouldn't wait too long, because they will probably sold out. I've got guys that they're not sure on shredders yet, but
Running a regular chop?
yeah, they say they've got a cloth processor, it's wore out, the frame's gone or something. They can put this unit in there, it will process like they've never processed before, because they're competing against the cloths anyway. And now they're ready to go shredders too if they want to.
So what does it take to go to shredlage?
By this unit, about 30,000, 29,000. What it takes to get it in there?
Yeah, no, you put it in there, I mean, you gotta change the knives, or you gotta change.
Okay.
Can you go from one processor to the other? Or, you know,
Yeah, yes, you can. And if you, a 492 requires a half knife. That's right. I think they're going to Good, you guys go over that over here, maybe. Half knife basically is cut on one side, the next knife cuts on the other side. So every knife is always doing something, and this makes a lot smoother flow than every other knife. And as far as hay goes, I think they're still using the same ones. In fact, that's what they were invented for, I think. Cutting hay because they want it longer. So, and you can cut your silage shorter too, you just machine down.
Oh, so to go from regular corn silage to shredders, you gotta change the knife.
Yeah, but these knives will work for sander silage too. Because shreddage, ideally, you want it from 26 to 32 millimeter length. It's because it's got to be over an inch long.
I think a lot of the guys take out half the knives anyway for corn. No.
We were taking out half the knife on a 24 knife drum, and that it was just too rough. There's too big of chunks coming through. 20. So if you only had 12 knives cutting, the machine didn't work well. Didn't like it. So what we're recommending, and a lot of guys who are ordering this way, is a 20 knife drum on 494, and that's perfect. It gives you a little over an inch long. 20 knife just works great. And this is the first year that you've been able to order a new machine with 20 knife drum. So there's a reason for that.
I don't think we're going to fight that as much here with the maturity of our corn, though.
Okay. If your corn's a little greener, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
You can actually go a little longer. And the processor does an easy job of doing that. You can run with a wider gap. Typically, with those rolls, most of the process we do is like 4 to 3 millimeter, 3 to 4 millimeter. It's wider than the standard. That rips the kernels up completely.
I think Dwayne's going to go over a whole bunch of this tomorrow. Shredlage and setup.
I've had there's a guy in Washington, your Sunnyside, that ran shredders just like this. He ran it shortcut, as long as he could cut it. I think it's like 22 millimeter with a 24 knife drum. And he thought he saved 15% of fuel because of the wider gap versus his standard processor. So there's a rumor it takes a lot more fuel. Really, it doesn't, because you will process it better with a wider gap, and that's all fuel. And then your cutter drum uses less fuel because it's cutting less, and the processor uses.
Does that mean tomorrow you're going to have an example in a bag of what the shred looks like?
What if Dwayne's got?
We're trying.
We could have a bag here. That'd be a good idea. I never thought of that.
That's what we're hoping.
Oh, you did?
That's what we're hoping to get.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then we're about done here. And then supposed to do a 5-minute warning too. This feature here just works great. Just in one line hooked up. Like I said, pressurize the housing with 2 pounds of air pressure, so it's always just got a little bit of a positive flow. Just a little bit about that system. Where we got the idea from was we have a shop, we have a lot of CNC machines, like automatic lathes and mills. That's what Bill just said. And every one of the spindles is lubricated with the lubricant, that type of system. Because it can spin, our spindles can turn up to 15,000 RPM. There's no seal that will take that, so it uses a little bit of positive air pressure and oil mist to lubricate that bearing. Anytime you walk up to a CNC machine, all you hear is shh. That's air going through the bearing, keeping that spindle lubricated. And if you think about some of the conditions are the same, you're flooded with coolant. This is flooded with juice, high speed. Sometimes it's very interrupted cut. Some of those spindles, just like this, you can slugs going through there. So it was just a perfect fit. That lubricant system, and that could install on. Well, if you bought that unit for your 492, you could have it. It could install on a regular processor too. It's quite a bit. It's some things you got to do, To install this unit in the 492, the rolls are bigger, so the processor had to expand out this way a little bit. There's a bracket that opens and closes the sharpening door in the front. Yeah, right in front. We send the template along. That has bracket, has to be shortened up about 1 inch. So basically, the template clamps on. You drill 4 holes, cut it, and then bolt it back on. Those holes will line up. That's basically it. So. And then there'll have to be there's some wiring diagrams and stuff for that temperature monitoring system as well. So, any questions on that? The difference in the frame, all Scherer units come with a 5-year warranty on the frame. So we're going to stand behind this frame. It's heavier than your processor. It's 5/16 thick. You'll notice it's got more bolts. When you're cutting regular sizes, it's never been a problem with the frame. If it was, we would have changed it. The Schroeders have got to be a problem because it's so much pounding, so much work for it. So we have to heavier frame, more bolts. And I think all the bolts are grade 8 bolts in this. And then we made some other adjustments too. People wanted to open up so bad, so we had to change the clamping bolts. And then we changed our frame design so that it was kind of a taper when they push up on, so we made that more abrupt. So now it's just pushing against a straight surface. So it's made a lot of difference.
30 grand?
Yeah, 29.7. Yeah. And the spread pins are all the same. We do make rolls for the other machine manufacturers, just the roll itself, shred style. I mentioned that tooth design is actually called a Lauren cut. Us working with Lauren knows that customers require a different type of tooth. They'll say Johnson, Dawson, Sharp, there's just different names for different types of cuts. So we call that the Lauren cut because the guy actually invented that tooth. His name is Lauren Olson. So we're giving him credit for calling it that. He's got a patent on that tooth design.
Are those durable as well? Like running rocks and whatever through there?
Actually, I was pleasantly surprised to see very little chipping with that. And I think it's because of the wider gap. Right now, the longevity isn't quite as long as these. It's not as long, I'll be honest with you. But we are making changes. We're adding more chrome now. We start off with less chrome because anytime you have a lot of chrome, you get this edge gets kind of blunt, and we want it extremely sharp. So this year we're putting more chrome on, and it didn't make that much difference in this edge, and that should add to longevity. So now probably the new ones now probably getting really close to the same amount of time. But that gap, I can't say enough about it. That's just saving your fuel. It's also saving roll wear. If you do all that and process better, that's pretty good. That's what you want. Now that 492 Scherer unit has the same bearing design as this. So the bearing just pull off with the puller. We have a tool for that. So it gets away with this system. It gets away from this system. Seals are identical as that in it. So basically, it's taking everything from the 494 and bringing it down to the 492 units. Let's do it. Adjustments are the same. Rolls just 1 inch smaller in diameter. Otherwise, and so the frame is a little bit shorter like this. The 494 is just a little bit taller. That's why they won't interchange. That'll wake you up.
So